Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as promised, the March 4th tariff deadline is here, and the tariffs have been imposed. Workers, manufacturers, fishers, growers, small business owners, everyone is watching and waiting to see how they will be impacted. My question for the Premier is, when will Nova Scotians impacted today know what supports will be available through this difficult time?
I recognize the Honourable Minister of Finance and Treasury.
So, Madam Speaker, I want to acknowledge that these are extraordinary times and this is an extraordinary challenge for our province. I just want to acknowledge that the province has responded to challenge and adversity in times in the past and will do so again. And we as a government will, all members of this legislature will respond to that tragedy, these enormous challenges. I want to point out that it was the first inkling that these tariffs would come was in December. This has impacted our thinking ever since and is reflected in our budget, which is a budget to stimulate the economy of Nova Scotia through tax cuts, through an extraordinary investment in infrastructure, and as well, Madam Speaker, other impacts.
I recognize the Honourable Leader for the Official Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And yet we've spent the past few weeks in this House debating the rules of debate, changes to government accountability, when what we need is a plan for the Nova Scotians affected. Nova Scotians from every corner of this province are worried about what this will mean for their paycheck, for their expenses, for their family's budget, for their livelihood. Madam Speaker, my question is, when will this government start working on the issues that Nova Scotians actually elected them to tackle?
I recognize the Honourable Minister of Finance and Treasury Board.
So, Madam Speaker, I want to say that as a government, we've been responding to the tariff issue ever since we've become aware of it. I want to acknowledge the hard work the Premier has done. He's seen as a leader in Canada on the response. Clearly, one of the outstanding things needs to be done is to change the way we do business with each other. The interprovincial trade barriers are something that have to change. We're seen as a leader in that effort. Nova Scotia is, thank you to the Premier. And we know that if even in small ways we can all do a bit more business with other provinces, with Nova Scotians, we can change the economy of our province. I want to acknowledge that. I want to mention the fact that we've invested in Nova Scotia Oil and continue to do so.
I recognize the Honourable Leader for the Official Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The government estimates that last year Nova Scotia's top exports were tires at $1.5 billion, fish and seafood at $1.2, forest products at $430 million, agriculture and agri-food products at just under $300 million. This revenue isn't just columns on a spreadsheet. It's thousands of people's livelihoods and the economic prosperity of our communities. The key thing that needs to be done is to let these individuals know how they will be supported. So I'll ask again, can the Premier stand up in this House and tell people what is being done to protect our local jobs, businesses, and communities?
I recognize the Honourable Minister of Finance and Treasury.
Madam Speaker, I can say that since December, our government has met with hundreds of business groups, individual businesses, chambers of commerce. We are listening. We've set up a tariff hotline for individual companies to call in. We are looking for the feedback from that. We realize these are extraordinary times. The tariffs will be devastating both for our province, or challenging for our province and challenging for our American neighbours. We will work through this. Nova Scotians have faced adversity in the past and triumphed. We will triumph again.